This is Jay Addison from CryptoBiz Magazine. We are live in Las Vegas at Inside Bitcoins with Raphael Paulin Daigle, the co-founder of DucatFlow. What is DucatFlow?
DucatFlow, we create enterprise integrations. So we'll help companies from either retail companies, so it could be a restaurant, but normally franchises. So, for example, we have a customer have over 160 locations worldwide, and we're trying to help them really integrate how they can integrate Bitcoin into their operations, what they can do with it. And we have an array of partners in security, legal, regulatory, and accounting services for Bitcoin that we work really closely with. So we will make sure that any customer that we deal with will get a full service implementation, and they don't have to worry about anything.
Right, they got a strong team behind them. That's
exactly.
The key, because Bitcoin's so new, right?
And it's so complicated. Most of them don't even really understand they don't even understand what's Bitcoin exactly.
Yeah,
so
you're
they
right.
know it's a digital currency. There are many benefits to it, but they don't know if they should keep all of their Bitcoins or cash out instantly.
Yeah.
So we help them figure out that strategy. And like I said, we do lots of retail, but we do lots of online stuff too. So
where are you guys located?
I live in Halifax, Canada, Nova Scotia. We're almost virtual because we
of course,
travel.
everybody is. Yeah.
We travel, and all our customers are basically in New York and Toronto and other cities like that.
Now, you've got a background as a performer. How do you think Bitcoin will affect independent performers in the long term?
That's an interesting question. I like it. I believe, when you're a performer, for example, there are many things. First of all, the way you accept payments, right? Right now, most performers will accept a check, will accept cash.
That'll bounce from the club to
and then, yeah, exactly. And then it's a bit complicated. When you have check, I remember when I perform magic shows, I would do it, a few by weekend, and going to the bank all the time was just so time consuming, and I hate going to the bank. It's actually one of the activities that I hate the most. And then obviously Stripe started, they released their new product, they're the small cube they attach to your phone, and I got it, but honestly I never used it because then I knew there was those transaction fees, and as a performer, your margins, depending on how you do, could be thin. Sometimes it could be really good, but you don't feel like shallowing those fees at all, and you don't feel like charging customers. Sometimes, if you perform for $1,000 for an hour, sometimes the fees can be a bit high, and you don't want to be, hey, I'll for a credit card, I'll add the $5 fee to that. So obviously it's not. I think it's just a perception problem. Fees aren't good, but it wouldn't look that great for a performer to ask their clients to shallow the fee.
Yeah, Bitcoin's always easier, right, for transactions. Just the speed. I always say I bought one of those crypto cards online a while ago, and using Bitcoin to pay for it, super fast, super easy.
Yep.
It was just the most pleasant transaction I've ever done in my life.
Yeah.
So you could see how performers, it's like you said, here you are having to go to the bank every time you do a gig. It's just an easier way to do all of that, right?
100%, and it's so easy. If you have your phone, you can accept Bitcoin, right?
That's right.
So you don't need anything else, and it's so flawless. Obviously, I don't see all of the customers of performers starting paying Bitcoin.
Yes.
That will.
It would be ideal.
It will be ideal, but it'll take some time to happen.
Yes.
But it's definitely a great other alternative method of payment.
It is, for sure. You're partnered with BitAccess to provide companies with BTMs, which are Bitcoin ATMs. Are these rented out or sold, and do you allow operators to set their own fee structures?
Yeah, so basically what we do with the BTMs, we'll just refer them to BTM, and we're basically a BitAccess affiliate. So in a way that we will, obviously for an additional fee, we'll help them set up and manage, everything they want to have managed. Obviously, we don't manage the float. I shouldn't say that because we don't manage the float. We don't manage the operations of the machine. But when they want to get started, we'll help them do it. No problem. We'll help them with the installation. If they want to buy a machine, we'll take care of the transaction with BitAccess. We can provide financing options too through BitAccess, but also through us, and we'll really help them get set up. Anybody in Canada, it's pretty easy to buy a BTM. Surprisingly, compared to the US, obviously, if I compare it here, and we'll just help them get set up.
So Canada already has the most BTMs per capita.
Yeah.
Do you feel the market is currently oversaturated?
I don't think it's oversaturated. It might get there, but I believe as people learn more and more about Bitcoin, more people will want to use Bitcoin and will want to sell their Bitcoin, just to cash out, not necessarily sell all their Bitcoin, but just to get some cash to pay for
Sure.
something that doesn't accept Bitcoin, or somebody that want to buy Bitcoins. Well, that population, that number of people that will want to do that will increase.
Yes.
So I believe if the deployment of BTMs is going too fast in Canada, yes, that problem with oversaturation will happen. But if we follow a natural curve and we do it gradually, then I think it's totally fine. It won't work everywhere. All the small cities for now, I don't see it realistic. I don't see it as a possibility, even having.
Sure, you still got to make money on it, right?
So exactly, you got to make money. So it's the big cities like Toronto, Vancouver, Calgary, and Ottawa. Those are really able to sustain those machines. And how many machines can they sustain? I don't know. I don't operate any of those machines in those cities. But yeah, it's different. It could be a problem, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, just following the natural curve is the best thing, I imagine. Yeah. Now, your company also offers merchant payment solutions. Mm-hmm. How do you plan on competing with companies like BitPay and Coinbase in the long term?
Yeah. So we don't actually create a new solution like Coinbase or BitPay. What we do is that we actually partner with them, and we will use. So in Canada, we use CA Vertex. They released a very good payment platform for merchants, and we believe it's one of the best in Canada. So we use them as a payment processor of choice in Canada, and we will get our merchant all set up. We will play with the APIs. So if it's something a bit more complicated, it could be like a POS integration for a merchant. If they're retail, then we'll play with the APIs. We'll make sure it's integrated full in the POS system. We'll make sure it's compliant, everything works perfectly. And if they have questions on the accounting, then we can also jump into that accounting, legal, and anything related to it.
Right, fantastic. Now, over time, as more areas become saturated with the BTMs, how competitive do you think fees will get? Do you think we'll ever get to a global standard?
Global standard, hard to say. I would say a standard by market. So
that makes sense.
I can already sell Toronto, and I'm not exactly sure what the fees on the machine are there, but I know they're a bit lower than what in Halifax. What's the fees of the machine? In Halifax, I know we have a machine. It's 12%, which is really high. My machine that we have in Moncton is 8%, which I still believe it's high. We're moving it to Toronto in the coming weeks, and I believe that it will go down in the next few months. Probably it'll get competitive, and like I said, the more machine that we get, the lower the fees will get because they will want to compete.
Sure.
And I know CA Vertex are installing machine throughout the country, and that will be interesting because they have a fee. I don't know if it varies by market, but then they install 12 or 10 machine, and now it creates lots of competition with the existing operators, and that will be very interesting to see how the fees will go down. And I believe it will probably go. I wouldn't be surprised in a few years it would go to like 3%.
Yeah, I think you're right.
You still you need to be able to sustain a business out of it. Obviously, the fees won't disappear, but 8% and 12% is definitely high.
Yeah, it's early, and I think there's. That's just part of the cost of being first into the race, I think, right?
And I want to add to that, actually, is that the fees are there, yes, and it's a bit high, but you're paying for convenience. Buying Bitcoins online is really complicated.
It is, actually.
And I get that question every day. People just start a chat on me on Facebook, and they're like, "Hey, Raphael, how can I buy Bitcoins?" I'm like, well, good question. Long story. You got to get verified with a few days, and another few days for your money and for you to actually receive your Bitcoins. But if you can find a machine, then it's super easy, right? So I believe that machine, their biggest advantage is to bring that convenience aspect to it. And I think 8% on those fees will really help with the convenience. But as it will get easier to buy Bitcoins online, then those fees will have to go down for sure. And I'm even questioning what will be the future of BTMs later on when buying Bitcoins online will be as easy as buying something from Amazon.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Or existing ATMs might be able to integrate Bitcoin in the near future. And I know there are some people that actually talk with a few of the ATM manufacturers and the operators. So we'll see how it goes, but it's different in an interesting market.
It is, and I think the fees right now are, not really unreasonable considering, the convenience more than anything, because if somebody wants to buy some Bitcoins today, like you said, and you just want to pick up $100 worth of Bitcoin or something, those fees aren't that much. The other variable is that the price fluctuates so much that 8%, I mean, you know, Bitcoin can change in price in 8% while we're talking.
Yeah, almost in a day, right?
Yeah. So convenience, get your Bitcoins, and I don't think it's out of line today. I mean, I certainly see as the competition comes in, we're going to get lower the price, but you know, it's all about convenience. Have you had any problems navigating the regulatory environment in Canada, and do you expect it to get harder or easier in the future?
Canada, not one problem. From the BTMs to the retail integrations, never had a hitch. And we do have those partners that work with us, and they're ready if there's something.
Yes.
But we've never been questioned. Even with the banks, they never answered. I mean, we don't really. Yes, we deal with Bitcoin, but we're not an MSP, right? So obviously that simplifies things
for sure.
Because we are a bit like, I don't like the word consultants, but that's basically what we do. So even the banks never asked questions about the Bitcoins, and it's really funny because they were actually very interested in it. When we went to open our bank account, they asked us so many questions.
Wow.
By interest and not by
regulatory type of.
We need to ask you X and X questions. So that was very interesting because I mean, I know companies that got their bank account shut down like 3-4 times.
I do too, yeah.
And it's very unfortunate, but it happens, and it still happens.
Yeah.
So honestly, other than BitAccess asking us for a background check, that's all. And that was this week that we've got asked to do that. But I mean, in Canada, for example, for the BTMs, you can order a BTM and you receive it, you put it anywhere, you plug it in, you don't have any problem. Only place where it could get a bit challenging is in your taxes. So then you have to, really calculate your gains and, with Bitcoin. And that really gives a bit of a headache to our accountant. But it's still very unclear. Not many problems right now, even in the US for our integrations inside, retail locations, and none of them are public. So, I mean, maybe we'll have a hitch someday, but I don't think somebody accepting Bitcoin would have any problem. And we do mostly, for now at least, kind of, normal integrations. It's not like we're creating a new banking system. Like Overstock announced with their stocks, right?
Right,
so
exactly,
we're not doing that yet, so,
that was kind of interesting, actually.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. January 1st, 2015, what do you think the price of Bitcoin is going to be?
Oh, I'm not a big fan of speculating on that.
No, but it's a guess. We've got a wide range from the last couple of days of interviews here.
But I still like it because everybody asks me
fun.
a question. And I would say it'd be in the thousands at least.
That's fantastic.
For sure.
2,000, 3,000?
Sure. I almost feel like it would be between 2 and 4.
Okay.
And this is just a wild guess.
We're going to hold you to that. I'm kidding.
Please don't. But it's just, I say that just after hearing people saying that they might think it's 30,000 at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And other people saying it might be 2,000. So I'm like, cool. I'll be not too over the top, so it doesn't look really weird, and I'll stay in the middle of it, and between 2 and 4.
Fantastic. Raphael Paulin Daigle, founder of DucatFlow.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us today.
Well, thank you very much for the interview. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome. This is Jay Addison from CryptoBiz Magazine, live from Meckler Media's Inside Bitcoins conference in Las Vegas. Remember to subscribe to CryptoBiz Magazine at CryptoBizMag.com. Follow us on Twitter at CryptoBizMag. Thanks for joining us, and learn more at CryptoBizMagazine.com.